We'd come over here on the ferry every summer to stay with my granny. As kids, we all played on the lump. We'd spend all day out here. We'd share stories of Saucy Mary and act them out with costumes. Legend has it that way back in the 15th century, there was a Norwegian princess who was married to a McKinnon chief, and her name was Mary, Saucy Mary. Lizzie would drape a long skirt over her head of curls, and she would walk into the stage, graceful and exuding authority. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It was said that Saucy Mary developed a nice little earner by using a giant metal chain that stretched from the mainland and anchored to rocks on the Skye shore, not far from where the bridge now touches down. The princess and her chain stopped all ships sailing by. They had to pay a toll before they could proceed. Only ships from her native Norway were allowed to pass. This is the bit where Paul would appear as if on a ship. He'd climb up the memorial and swing off it as though on a ship's mast. "Ahoy there," he would call. "Let me pass." But Lizzie would never let him. She would play a game with a rope, pretending it was a long chain, and Jenny and I would join in singing, "Speed, bonny boat, like a bird on a wing, onward the sailors cry. Carry the lad that's born to be king, over the sea to Skye." Saucy Mary, the Norwegian princess, was so attached to her own country that she asked to be buried on the top of Ben Nachally, also known as the Mountain of the Old Women, so that winds from her homeland could pass over her resting place. We never had an audience. No one came to watch our performances, but we'd do it over and over again as if they did. Lizzie would then tell us that Saucy Mary haunted the area. Unhappy with her untimely death, she wandered round the lump at midnight, wailing and calling out to the sea. Paul, the youngest of our group and Lizzie's wee brother, would start to cry. Lizzie always liked to give him a hard time. Poor Paul. She hated that she had to babysit him, but I didn't mind him being around. He was a sensitive wee soul and good-natured. Unlike the wee torags that used to come by and chase us, Jack and his crew. They'd climb up the memorial, shout all sorts at us, and tease Paul for hanging with lassies. One time, Lizzie lumped one of them, right here. That was a good day. You should have seen the looks on their faces. Lizzie might have been hard on Paul, but she would never let any harm come to them. They never bothered us after that. Well, that was until the dance, the Calacan dances. We'd put on our best clothes and get all dressed up. Jenny would sneak some of her dad's whiskey into her handbag, and we'd take turns of having sips in the toilets. The hall was packed as usual, especially as it was a country and western night. Jenny and Lizzie were deep in concentration, trying to keep up with the steps in the line dance, Paul leading the way as usual. He was a great mover, and that's when they walked in, the torags, but now in their teens. Jack, the one that Lizzie lumped, eyeing the crowd, obviously waiting for a fight. The others standing around him like a pack of wolves, waiting to attack. They see Lizzie, Paul and Jenny on the dance floor. They start to circle. I push my way through the crowd of dancers, but I'm too late. They circle Paul. Lizzie, the protective older sibling, uses her body as a shield between them. Paul pushes her away. He stands tall. They size each other up. A crowd starts to form. An elder appears and gets between them. Lizzie is fuming, her hands clenched into fists, Jenny holding her shoulders. Someone shouts and the crowd clambers from the hall. The ferry's due and they all need to get on it to get back home. I manage to find Paul. He swears and is adamant he's not setting foot on the boat with those torags. So we all head to the lump. Me, Jenny, Lizzie and Paul, all in our finery. woozy from the booze and the adrenaline from the fight. Suddenly, it's 11:10 and the last ferry's gone. We talk of plans at getting back at Jack. Do we get him on his own, or do we humiliate him in front of his friends? Nothing bad, just give him his comeuppance. But we're too tired from the dancing, so we all fall asleep. In the morning, we head to the ferry. There's a commotion. I see my dad with all his workmates. They form a crowd, and there's a sense of animosity in the air. It's about the ship being built, the bridge being built. Things are going to change for Calacan. I know for some it will be a big change. Paul will lose his summer job controlling cars in the car park. Dad will lose his job on the ferries. I wave my friends off at the port and I walk back. The sun's up and it's a glorious day. I get back to Gran's and my mum's there waiting for me. Dad's in the front room and comes through to talk to me. No doubt I'm in trouble for staying out all night. I sit at the kitchen table. Gran has a sad expression on her face. I start to feel guilty for causing them worry. Mum starts to speak. She's not making sense. Her voice is calm, no annoyance or anger. Dad joins in, says something about better prospects and a new beginning. My head hurts. Their words swirl in my mind. They say we have 2 weeks. 2 weeks? 2 weeks before we leave for Edinburgh. We're moving away from all my friends. No more playing on the lump, no more dances, no more riffs with Jack and his friends. But Dad is happy in his new job working for ScotRail, and he gets his cheap travel back up to visit Gran. Mum works as a teaching assistant in a primary school. It's a busy city. I'm at a huge secondary school, over 900 pupils. I make new friends from my class. Some are from other areas, so I don't feel like the odd one out. It slowly begins to feel okay. Before I know it, the summer's arrived, and just like every summer that's gone before, we head back to Calacan to stay with Gran. I'm excited about seeing Lizzie, Jenny and Paul. We've written letters, a bit like pen pals, but I miss their faces. It takes almost 6 hours to get here. When we arrive, I hug and kiss Gran and I head out here. In the distance, I can see this. Jenny, now wearing glasses. Lizzie, hair more curly than I remembered it. And Paul, so tall and muscular. And then, someone lurking behind them. A new friend, the 4th member of the group. My position's been filled. I'd been replaced. I was stupid to think our friendship could last. As I draw closer, I can't believe my eyes. It's Jack. Yes, Jack, the troublemaker, the cheeky one. He stands there with a huge smile on his face. They all wave. As I join them on the lump, we hug and share stories. They laugh at my accent, how it has changed. Jack confesses he had been immature and that he'd always fancied Lizzie. They're a couple now. I didn't see that coming. We spend the summer here on the lump. Calacan's not as busy now there's the bridge, but I didn't care. I was just happy to be here. And now, here I am again. I'm still down in the big city. I'm married to Tom and I have 3 kids. In fact, I better go now. They're at Paul's. He has 2 kids around the same age. Tonight we're all heading to Lizzie and Jack's for dinner. I just fancied coming up here on my own for a bit. You know, for old time's sake. Edinburgh is where I live now. But here will always be my home.
So if you just want to tell me a bit about what made you want want to get involved? What inspired you to do this play particularly, and why the location, obviously?
Okay, well, first reason getting involved was I was involved in the festival last year, 2015, which I think was the inaugural festival, though I'm not entirely sure, so don't quote me on that. And I really enjoyed that. It was a really nice vibe. People were really supportive and accommodating. You know, we did it at Abernethy, Old Kirk and Nethy Bridge, you know, and I did a thing called the Cutty Stool. And then this year, actually, the writer actually contacted me and said she had a piece that she was preparing for the festival and that she had me in mind to perform it and was interested. And I said, definitely, you know, having done it last year and everything. So so that was, you know, what got me involved in it. The piece itself, I'm not the writer. Yeah, the writer is Julie Ginestri, actually. So I think she came up and did a bit of research, you know, about the area and spoke to the site manager and everything. And on the basis of that, I think had an idea about this woman who had previously lived in Callacan, you know, and you know had really fond childhood memories of it, you know, and had a real strong attachment to the place. And this was her, you know, she's moved away, you know, physically, I think, but spiritually, you know, and emotionally, this is still her home, you know. So she wanted to sort of kind of get that idea into the story, you know. So that was the plan, you know. And I think the area, I'm not entirely sure why this particular location was chosen, because I wasn't involved in that aspect of it. But I think it's a perfect location for that story, to be honest, you know. And it's quite atmospheric, I think, and I think it's quite physically to look at it. It's really, really. I don't know if the word's pretty, but scenic, you know, it has all the right features on it that, you know, you'd want to see. And obviously with the War Memorial on it as well, it's quite poignant having that there. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And the festival itself, obviously, you're going off to Salmarosta tonight.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think it's a kind of important festival to be happening? Like the small performances, what do you think it is that makes this kind of something that's different?
Yeah, well, I think the kind of specific nature of it in the first place, it makes it quite different. I believe it's in conjunction with the Open Doors Day, you know, so any kind of public areas, you know, have been used. And I think it's good because it's like bite-sized theatre, you know, so people that are not, you know, sort of experienced theatre goers or that, or who might not necessarily walk into somewhere like a, you know, traditional theatre building, you know, this is something they can come, you know, and have a wee taster at, you know, and watch it. And it's not too long either, you know, as well. So, you know, there's less chance of getting bored, you know, and if you don't like it, it's only 15 minutes, you know, how not before it's over, you know. So I think that's, but I think it is important to have, you know, this kind of thing in the Highlands, you know, because it's such a spread out area geographically and everything like that, and there are a lot of small communities, it kind of fits in with that small size thing, just doing little things, bite sizes, you know, in smaller communities, you know, and bringing arts, culture, theatre, you know, to them actually, rather than, you know, having to travel distances to get to places. But yeah.
And what would you say to people who are thinking of getting involved themselves if it's going ahead next year?
I would say definitely do it. It's really been a great experience for me. It's been a lot of fun, you know, and you learn a lot as well, you know, about areas, you know, how that you've possibly never been to before or don't know a lot about, you know. But it's a very supportive festival. Everybody involved's really behind it, you know, and I think that's the main thing. There's a lot of enthusiasm for it, and a lot of hard work goes into it as well, you know, and I think it's nice for that to be rewarded, you know, at the end of the day.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, you're welcome.